Hello and welcome back to JoonGolfs. Today we're going to be doing a vlog on what it's like to golf and have a beautiful wife who is also a golfer. Well, should we define that a little bit for the people?
I'm not a golfer. Joon is the golfer. I love the game of golf. I love the strategy of golf. I'm Joon's caddy. I help him work on his game. I help him prep for tournaments. I caddy for him in tournaments.
She does.
But I
she
do
does.
not golf.
No, we've tried to walk down that path, but it's a very, very rocky situation with communication and
It's
frustration.
Hard.
Yes.
It's a hard game. It's a hard game to learn. It's a hard game to play. I think you're better off if you start when you're younger.
Well, I think that's a cop-out. I don't think you should say that when you're younger because...
How old were you when you started?
That doesn't, I recall starting, I touched a golf club at like 9, but it was like a wood. It was an actually wood golf club. And my
Is that what they
grandfather-
started out with as?
They did start out that way, which is kind of funny though. You're saying that all of a sudden I learned the skills as a golfer. I think you can learn those as an adult too. It just makes it more difficult.
I'm not athletic to boot. I'm strategically minded.
That's true.
I'm logically minded. I'm not an athletic person.
That's
so
true. Well,
I love the strategy of golf. That's why I love playing with you, walking with you, caddying for you, because it's all about the strategy of the game.
Yeah, that's true. You do. Well, why did you even start wanting to golf? Let's hold back. You were raised with golf, and your father would see someone taking a backswing and actually honk at them. That was kind of like what you saw golf as, this weird
I never
thing.
played it, or I never thought about it. I never thought about golf.
Right.
Yeah, and I knew you played because you have like MVP of your high school on the golf team, and like you had those things in your house, like the plaques and whatever.
That I've lugged around since high school.
Yeah, and so when we got back together after our break, and we were living in California.
We were on a break.
I took you golfing. And
That's right,
and I didn't know anything about it, so I booked a par 3 in Southern California, a beautiful course on the coast.
It was.
But you were like, "We're gonna go play a par 3," and I was like, "Yeah, we're gonna go play a par 3."
Whatever that means.
Whatever that means. Anyway, then I was like, "Whoa, you're good. We should do this more. This is fun." And so then we just started golfing.
I don't know if you thought I was good. I think you just kind of. Okay, he can hit the ball. And what kind of like...
No, I thought you were good because I had no idea like what anything meant, like par, any of that. And so you were like, yeah, I got to get it there in 3. And then you would. And then you would again and again. And I was like, okay, this can't be that hard. And then I tried.
And then she tried. There's the caveat.
Yeah, I tried and I was like, no. But what got you into golf?
That's a good question. So I was athletic. I played a lot of sports growing up, mainly baseball, and then I needed an individual sport as I was going into high school. And for some reason, golf was on the spectrum. It could have been tennis, or it could have been ping pong, or like just something different. But
it was just like an option at your high school, or like
it was an option at the high school.
How was it an option?
But yeah, so I picked up the club and started playing like more around 12, 13, so the year before high school, and then I got a job.
Who took you?
My father did. He took me. He's like, hey, if you're gonna play, then we're gonna have you, because it can be very expensive to practice and all that stuff. So I actually got a non-paying job called a range rat at a local golf course, and that's when he started bringing me to the golf course, and I would spend a lot of time just prepping for high school golf. So I didn't play golf before that at all. I'd been on the golf course maybe once. And that's kind of how the introduction is. I wanted to play a sport in high school, and it wasn't going to be baseball. Anyway.
So you played then in high school?
I did play in high school. I did. What do you want to know about that?
Nothing. Don't care.
Okay.
Played in high school.
Great.
Loved it.
Loved it.
You worked
Excelled
on a course.
I did, all the way through
And that's
high
how
school.
you got to play so much, because it's fucking expensive.
It is. Yeah. They've made it a lot more approachable now, I think. Because, this was back in 2001, 1999. So, golf was more of a... It wasn't what it was now. I can tell you that
25
now.
years now.
Yeah, like golf was, Tiger Woods was on the scene. He was eating it up. But the whole style of golf, the whole experience of golf was still very off-putting. Like a lot of people didn't want to go onto a golf course. Very pretentious, very like uptight. And so I think the approachability to golf was very different when I started.
So it was a big part of your life, though.
It was.
Throughout high school and by the end of high school. So then what happened? Why did you stop? Money.
Yeah, I mean, after high school, you're like, okay, well, I have to pay for all this stuff. And it just was like, I'm not going to do anything.
And you stopped working at the course?
Yeah, I stopped working at the course because I needed to make money, and so they weren't paying. I guess I could have stuck with that, but I guess I didn't. I didn't really have any reason to keep playing.
You weren't
golf.
going to go to college. You weren't planning to play in college.
No.
Did you even think about that?
Yeah, again, I think that'll go in the history books for me. It's just kind of that's the what if question. What if I would have been that? What if I would have done that? And there's a lot of pressure, I think, that would have been put on the game for me. So anyway, I just kind of forgot about it. It's just something you did, and then you move on and you do other stuff, you know?
So fast forward 10 years, just shy of 10 years, maybe 8 years. I took you to that course in California.
Yeah, for some reason I kept my clubs.
We got married shortly after. That was 8 years ago now.
Yeah.
We got married shortly after that, and then I remember we spent our first year of marriage in Oregon, where June's from, in Portland. And I remember it was rough. Hated it. Hated being married to you that first year.
I hated being married to myself.
But you started going to golf when you were like really stressed out randomly. You'd be like, I'm gonna go golf. Like you'd get up at like 6 a.m. and go golf.
Yeah, I did that a few times, and for some reason I was already, a part of different like adventures or doing some other pursuits, and so golf was just like, hey, I forgot about this game. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that I know how to do a lot of the beginning and excelled parts of this game, and it really just kind of came back into my life that way. But then we made a life decision to move states, and then it was more of just like, oh, it's just kind of something I'll get back into. Like, I'll go hit some balls here and there.
And we were trying to find things that we could enjoy doing together.
Yes.
Like trying to salvage our marriage and our friendship.
Wow, sounds like we just go through the grind with it.
Well, that was like still like the first, second year of marriage, and we were like, I feel like golf initially was just something that we were like, let's just do this together and see if we can do something together and enjoy each other. Yeah. And then we were like, I feel like we totally became like best friends again on the golf course. Yeah,
there was something about having your partner not just be there, because we're big walkers. We love walking the course. We love taking the time just to relax and spend time outside. And I think realizing that you tried getting into golf and we bought you a set of clubs and you're like, okay, well, I don't think I'm going to get into golf this way. It's just like the barrier to entry to play, quote unquote, together. It just wasn't really what you liked. You enjoyed the strategy part of it. You enjoyed being a part of the game itself, and that really exposed more to me of like the other side of golf that I wasn't even really paying attention to. Like, how far are you actually hitting? Not just a guess of like, what are your clubs doing?
Data.
I remember you took all this data.
Like, I remember talking to you about that and being like, you have no data. Like, you don't know how far you hit your 9 iron versus your 8 iron versus your 7. You're just like guessing. You're just like, that's about 150 yards. I guess I'll hit a 9. Yeah. And I remember being like, this could be so much better honed. Like this skill, this craft, you can like hone this skill if you made some tweaks. Like, let's start collecting data. I remember he played for like 10 years or something, and never even having a rangefinder. Like,
I would
just
go off
eyeball.
Of I wouldn't. I would go off of the sprinkler heads.
The sprinkler heads and like the little thing, but then you would eyeball it too. You'd be like, that chip's about 70 yards. There's no like sprinkler heads at that.
No,
you're
right.
You're talking about the 150 mark.
Well, no, the 150. There are sprinkler head yardage markers on there.
More than the 150? Oh, okay.
It depends on each course, but most of the time,
Yeah, but I remember being like, how do you know? Like, you're gonna fuck up your club choice based on this one thing, and you're gonna cost yourself a stroke based off of this one area that we could so easily just fix.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's what you brought. That's what she's continued to bring into my life.
Yeah.
And so with that, we wanted to kind of like, well, let's start playing some local tournaments. Let's start actually, not pursuing something with it. I think it's just it's excelling and wanting to kind of drive further into the place that I didn't go when I was younger.
Yeah. And
it really gets those juices flowing for competition and really puts the pressure on all that discipline and work that you put into the game. I think it's just come to a really good place. And I think golf is just something that teaches me about myself, and it teaches me about other parts of just life and the aspects of life. And I wouldn't be the same if you didn't bring it back into my life. I would.
So you're good at golf.
Thanks.
You've worked really hard to become good at golf. We've even worked together to shave off some strokes in the last several years that I've been a part of your golf game.
Mm-hmm.
Why this new challenge of shooting par for 18? Why that goal? Why now?
Yeah, it's the elusive 72. I think shooting under par for 19 holes, for 9 holes. I've shot under par many times for 9 holes, which I'm really appreciative. The thing is, the best I've done is 73. And that was back in my glory days.
Yeah.
So relearning the game and getting close into shaving those few strokes off. I think it's obviously it's a goal. It's something that you want to drive to and something you want to be a part of. But I think I wouldn't be okay with dying without shooting a 72. There's like that. No, I can shoot par or better for 18. I think it's just putting a full round together. That I want to experience that headspace and that emotional space and that. I don't know, what does it mean to put that round together? Because I know those big benchmarks of breaking 100, breaking 90, breaking 80. It just feels like that next benchmark of shooting par. So I think that's what I want to do. And I think the life that we've built has allowed me to pursue some things outside of career. And I love golf, so why not? Why not? With my best friend, too. That would be really cool to experience.
It would. It will be.
Okay.
So you like the challenge. It sounds like
Absolutely.
there's an aspect of challenging yourself that is super satisfying to you. And every benchmark you hit, it's like, okay, what's my next challenge? Like there's a sense of drive and ambition and adventure in continuing to move the mark.
I think there is. I don't know why there is that drive. It's the dream within myself of just seeing what's deeper, of what's not discovered yet. There's a lot of never, like I haven't yet done that, like that never aspect of the game of like, oh, I've never done that. Like, and you can. The thing is, you can't just wake up and be like, oh, I'm gonna go shoot.
Yeah.
Well, like there's so many beautiful and hard parts that we have to learn about ourselves and the game, and like I can't wait to even talk about all those things that I think the element of golf is so mental, and like we're so afraid to really face ourselves in that moment and to figure out how do I become present within this moment and how do I shut out but then tune in. Like there's so much that goes into a shot, you know what I mean? Like, and to put a round together of good 72 shots, like you get 72 shots, and it's entertaining, and it's a journey that I think can be shared. I think that's why we're doing it.
I like that picture of it's like the culmination of an entire person in a shot. Not just like the physicality of learning how to swing a club. That's like one aspect. And then there's like the mental strategy of the game. How are you going to hit this shot? Where do you need to approach from? What is the wind doing? What is the elevation change of this hole? Am I dog legging in some direction?
Right.
Honing that like course management piece of how you're playing the game. And then there's this whole other side of like of like you as an emotional person,
Mm-hmm.
because I feel like you can have the first two honed in, but if you're still hung up on the last hole or you're frustrated about something,
Mm-hmm.
you could sabotage the whole shot, and then you've lost another stroke.
Yeah. And then it spirals. Who
And
knows?
it just,
But then there's also the beautiful part of, okay, you're shooting a great round.
Yeah.
You have got 5 holes left, and all of a sudden something tanks. You know what I mean? Or it's like dealing with the positive of having a good game.
Yeah.
That is also carries a weight. So,
Yeah.
well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thanks for
So
asking.
you have this goal of 72.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel like you know what it is in your game that it's going to take to shave off those last few strokes? Have you been able to identify that?
This season I've come in a little bit quicker with planning and prep.
Yeah.
So I think because where we live now, it's obviously snowing, so it's difficult to kind of get a head start on that. But I think prep and just feeling comfortable in your swing before the season starts, and your touch and your feel, those are really things that you can, I think, get ahead on. I think that last year I ended really well, and I think that those strokes will come. I think this year could be the year, and I hope it is.
Yeah. I'm excited to see what you do this year and what that looks like.
Me too.
Yeah. Just wanted to dive in a little bit with Joon, and as he's on this journey to par, that's the direction that this vlog is taking, and just wanted to ask him some questions and see where all this is coming from.
Yeah, well, stay tuned. We'll have more stuff like this. Appreciate you tuning in. Like, subscribe, stay part of the channel.